Welcome to day 4 of Compas at Radio Row. I am Fernando Ramirez, Chargers beat reporter for Sports Illustrated. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Montano, OC Register, LA Daily News. And we have, again, Dan and Dago here with us, live from Radio Row, like I said. What's up, bros?
What's up, Fernando and Dan and Dago? I still can't figure out why you're here, but you know what? I'm glad you're here today because today was a busy day. Today felt like an actual Super Bowl Radio Row, Fernando and Dan and Dago. We were busy. I am proud of this team today because the list was better than a Summer Jam lineup, or maybe not as good as a Super Bowl halftime show or what Pat McAfee had on. We'll say that a little later, but it was a great show, jam-packed. I don't know, Fernando, do you want to just roll off the list?
Sure. Yeah, no, it would be a great honor. Yeah, no, today was jam-packed. I mean, honestly, a lot of what Radio Row is, to give you guys a little bit of an insight, is there's a lot of celebrities, a lot of people walking around and stuff. Sometimes it's not about being on a list or being on anything like that. You have to go up to the agents and try and convince them. So today, obviously, we had some guests scheduled, but Dan and Dago and I were sitting here, and I saw Ron Rivera from the Washington Commanders head coach. He was walking by, and I told Dan and Dago, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go try it. So I go up to the agent, and I start speaking to her, and I'm like, hey, like, it'd be really cool to get to sit down with the one Latino head coach in the NFL. Obviously, Gilbert and I are here. We're doing this show. It's a different perspective. To have three of us sitting here speaking about growing up in a Hispanic / Latino household was incredible. And then obviously some more negotiating happened when UFC 135 champion Julianna Pena showed up, and I saw her sitting down at a table waiting to be interviewed, and I go up to the agent. The agent's like, she's ready right now? And or are you guys ready right now? I said, yes, we are. She's like, oh my God, come here. And then she grabs her, brings her over to the Compas table, and I'm like, okay. And I look at Dan and I look at Gilbert. I'm like, let's go. Like, this is starting now. So obviously we're able to get her. So that's, count it, 2 Hispanic / Latinos that we had on the show. And then let's just go for 2 more. We got actor Edward James Olmos, who's obviously famous for being in Selena and American Me and in Stand and Deliver, 3 of his best movies. He talks about all 3 of them and really goes into depth on some of them. And then obviously we also had Emilio Rivera from Mayans season 4. They're both in the episode together, but obviously that's 4, Gilbert. 4 Latino Hispanic people that we had here. And then, hey, why not just add one more? We're talking UFC. Why not add Michael Buffer, legendary announcer? Obviously, that's boxing, but still, we talked to him about Canelo versus Triple G3, the trilogy, and all that. So, and honestly, Gilbert, I know it's we're talking about our guests and about you and I and how we go up and grab them and stuff, but today the shout out really goes to Dan and Dago. He was moving, he was changing names on here, he was really all over the place, taking pictures, taking videos, hustling. How do you feel now, Dan, that the day is basically over and now you can relax a little bit?
Well, hopefully my memory doesn't fail me, because I just want to touch a little bit, just a way back of what we heard earlier. Did I just hear that stooge over there? Just Mr. Gilberto. I can't be screaming in here. They'll kick me out, because let me tell you something. I don't know how I got here. I don't know what I'm still doing here, but I think I heard some credit over there. I felt like Hulk Hogan. I wanted to just go up to the computer and just, what was that? Just say it one more time. I'm so glad it's recorded. So glad. I'm going to keep this forever. I'm going to crop it and keep it. But go back to your question again. Why don't you remind Dan and Dago one more time what the hell you just asked me?
I said, how did it feel? How did today feel? I mean, obviously the first few days it was a little sprinkles of crazy here and there, but today was really the madness where you're just running around grabbing stuff, grabbing people, people interviewed. Oh, hey, let's talk to the other guests and talk to the other guests while we finish up with the next one. So how were you able to deal with the madness?
All right, I appreciate that because one thing about your boy Dan Dago over here, sometimes his memory comes and goes. Don't be fooled by my looks. I am an 82-year-old man in this body. Talk to me like your granddad, like if you would your granddad. But anyway, it was so wild today because number one, I'm over here. I'm running a rad. I'm trying to get photos and all that. I'm trying to get the videos and stuff like that. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but your boy was in it. He was sweating gallons. Of course, hold on. Of course, we had our little compliment earlier by this Stitch Clan, as my good friend Pat says.
Oh, good friends now, huh? Okay.
Greatest human being I know from here in the Blue Check Mark Brigade besides you two. Well, sometimes you. You're kind of a scumbag, but that's all right. But anyway, of course, when we had Edward and Emilio on, of course, stooge number one over here, public enemy number one on Dana Dago's list, starts just pulling out the shovel. He said, oh, this is a good time. This is a good time in front of two big-time guests. Let me just pull out a shovel, start digging. Your boy Dan Dago was digging through his backpack, getting chargers, getting the camera ready, trying to type the name out because your boy Dan Dago, he likes history. He's smart for those things, but spelling's not a strong suit and neither is math. So get that garbage out of the way. I had to look at it, spell it right, sweating bullets.
Or technology.
Oh, tech is already known. I'm terrible. But anyway, trying to get the name right is like a big thing for me because I hate when people mess up my name or anything like that. So I don't want to mess up their names. I want to be professional. But of course, he goes stooge number one. Just, oh, can you do it any faster? What's taking so long? Oh, just wouldn't stop his gums. I thought his mouth was dry at some point, but no, of course not. He's used to speaking that.
No, Dan, you're butchering it. You forgot the best part. I had a nice joke. I said, why are you sweating over there? What's going on? You're nervous. I get it. It's Jaime Escalante, the professor from Stand and Deliver, Edward James Olmos. You don't make that guy wait, Danny boy. But you know what? No, let's kind of take it back because I want to just, signify how crazy this day was because as soon as we got here, it was like 10 in the morning. And I'm like, Fernando, I'm out. I'm going to go see the halftime press conference with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige. And that was awesome. They were there in person. I'm getting my videos out, I'm having fun there. And then I get a text from Fernando. You should get down here pretty quick because Ron Rivera is going to come and talk to us. I'm like, oh, here goes another false promise from Fernando, but whatever, I'll get down there. And sure enough, he came through, no more false promises with Fernando. We'll get into that later on. Because, the day before is a little quiet, and I know Fernando's a little disappointed, but we picked it up today. We were working, we were grinding. And I was giving you some crap, Danny boy, but you did good work, good videos, good pictures. I keep telling you, I want vertical videos for the gram, for the TikTok. I'm a social media star, not as big as Pat McAfee, but to go from Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, to running down here and we're gonna get Edward James Olmos and Emilio Rivera. But we kind of were like, can they wait a little bit because Ron Rivera said yes to it. He said yes to Fernando. And we're like, hey, coach of the Washington Commanders, which sounds still kind of weird to me. And from that point on, man, you're killing it because we told you wave after wave. Can you set up for Ron Rivera? Can you set up for Edward and Emilio? Can you set up for Julianna Pena, Michael Buffer? I think it was 3 in a row. Maybe I'm blanking. Or even started with our good friend Doug, too, from Pro Football Focus. So it was just in stretches and waves. And I think the first 2 days we kind of learned what to look out for, especially with our – you might catch some bad audio, but we're gonna get that figured out for the following year. But I think this day I was really okay. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna say it again, Fernando and Danny boy. I am proud of you guys. This is pretty cool team effort today.
I want to say one thing. Let me just come in here real quick because if not, I forget. And then when you ask me, I'm not gonna know what the hell's going on. I heard a lot of weef around. Didn't Stooge just admit he ran off to go get starstruck by Snoop D-O-double-G and all this stuff? No, I'm just kidding. But it was a great day. Don't shout me out. It's all good. That's what I'm here for. I am the what's it called? I'm a man of many hats, as you can tell. Just look at my Instagrammer.
Yeah, he's taking the school out of Daniel Popper and using the word "we" a lot. So that's what Gilbert's doing now. Inside
He also stopped by.
Yeah, he stopped by to be a menace. But yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, today was wild. I mean, getting guys in and out and everything. So the reason why the audio is bad is because of me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We were leaving on Tuesday night from. If you laugh, you.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're gonna tell this story because I make fun of you every single day.
No, I know. I'm not embarrassed of it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not embarrassed of it. I mean, it was just one of those things. But we were leaving Radio Row on Tuesday night, and we were walking, and we had just figured out how to do audio, how to do all of our stuff. And it was Monday or Tuesday night, but we were very excited because we had just finally figured out how to do everything. And we were walking out, and I didn't see a sandbag, and I accidentally fell straight on my microphone, and I think that really messed up my microphone. So now it's all it's a little messed up right now. So that's why I've been struggling with the audio. So that's on me. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy fall. I mean, my wrist hurts, my arm kind of. I mean, you could see a little something right there, like kind of scraped up a little bit. But
you're okay, and that's why we can make fun of it now. That's why I always point out the sketch of your body where you laid on the ground for a little bit, where the sandbag got you. But you know what? We're gonna go back to that sandbag, bring out the bats, and destroy it because we crushed it today.
Can I just say, what a scumbag! Even the night you fell, Frau, he was nowhere near trying to pick you up. One person out of the 3 Compas was there trying to pick him up. I won't say who.
Reedy was trying also. Like Reedy's like, "Hey, what can I do? Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Hey, that's true though. That's true. Big shout out to Uncle Joe. But Frau deserves a shout out because he is here on the, what is it, the DNP or the LMI? I don't know what these acronyms mean or anything like that. The limited in practice, I don't know. But he's out here slaying, just like The Rock says, clanging and banging and pa 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 and all that other stuff. But great day.
I devour.
Now he's trying to do the rap song of The Rock. But like Gilbert said, we pack show.
Well, Fernando, you mentioned rap. You know, we talk about Wiz Khalifa. He was out here too, man.
I was gonna say that for the outro, okay. But I mean, what do you think?
I'm just too excited. Let's go to the gas, and we'll bring up Wiz Khalifa later.
All right, so that was a little bit of a tease. We'll mention why we brought up Wiz Khalifa. If you haven't checked, at Real F Ramirez or at G Manzano 24.
That was a good video, by the way. I checked it out, and you went to the right spot. We'll get into it.
But Goat, I don't know what to tell you.
Definitely a lot of fun, but guys, bear with us. This is going to be a long episode, full of really good guests, full of great conversations. So stay tuned for all of it. We got it. Now let's go. Who do you want to go to first? I'm gonna let you decide, Gilbert.
Oh, we got to go to the OG, triple OGs, man. Edward James Olmos, who was in every movie I saw growing up and still today. And of course, Emilio Rivera from the Mayans and the show Sons of Anarchy. Let's go.
We are so excited. Gilbert and I are very excited about these next guests. Edward James Olmos, you know him. He's been all over the screen since the 70s. Great actor. And then obviously we have Emilio Rivera, both from the Mayans. Guys, how are you guys doing today? And we see you in your Ram jerseys. I think you guys are trying to tell us something about this Sunday.
Go charge. These are Compas on the beat. So the audience, but they are, typos.
They're typos, yeah, because they're really out of date guys, right?
Yeah.
Not San Diego Charger guys, right? Okay. Just to get that straight, homeboy.
Well, Edward and Emilio, we have Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, but I think you guys are a better duo than those guys. What do you think about that?
They came in already?
Yeah,
you haven't heard his rap yet.
You have anything for us?
No, rap.
Wait till you get paid that Super Bowl money.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty cool to be here with you, Edward, because I told Fernando from first grade to like 12th year senior in high school, I watched that movie Stand and Deliver every single day. I felt like our teachers that you got to watch this, con ganas.
I tell you, Gil, and to all of us, especially those that are listening right now, it was such an honor to do that kind of story in that movie. And it became something that I had no idea. And I was told by the film societies, the National Red, and in the United States, more than E.T., all the Star Wars. Not that they, those movies, hundreds of millions of people saw them when it came out in the United States. But they've been watching tens of thousands of teachers use it every year and a half for the last 34 years. And like you saw quite a bit during your time. So teachers love that film. I don't know how they do it though, to be honest with you. Because that film kind of inspires the students and motivates them. But man, is it hard on the teacher? I mean, can you imagine watching that movie and then getting in front of the class and trying to teach?
Oh, right,
because of
right.
the,
Oops.
because of the great performance by you. But Edward,
No, not him.
well, yeah, but you were portraying him in the movie.
Yeah, but if imitation is the highest form of flattery, then that's all I did. I had not one thing that I did I conceive. I imitated every single thing that I could possibly into that man. And what happened ended up catching lightning in a bottle, which is hard to do. We documented his behavior. It became more than just a dramatic film, fictionalized film. It became a documentation of his behavior and his life. And thank God, because he died a few years after that. He didn't live that much longer. He only lived to 76, and he shouldn't have died that young, but he had cancer. But man, what an extraordinary.
But at least you got to see it.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you do movies, you see movies after the people are gone. But at least you can see that. You see how much he inspired the people. You dig?
He went to the Oscars with me.
Right?
I took him. Yeah. If I had won that year, Hoffman won that year, but had I won that year, I was going to pull him up there. I was going to let him do the speech, but not me.
Yeah, but
it has nothing to do with me, everybody. Thank you for giving me the award. But really, let the man who really deserves the accolade say something. And I was really hoping that they would.
But at least you saw a big part of it, Cardinal. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful, beautiful, brother.
He really understood.
Going on. I think that movie, one reason why it resonated with us, because it kind of told the true story about what we go through as Latinos, especially growing up in LA and the neighborhoods like that.
I just said that right now.
The schools.
I was those two cholos in that movie. That was me. And the thing was, all I ever wore was a pencil in my ear, but I had big ears, so it would always fall out, right? And I used to carry a piece of paper in my back pocket because I was a cool vato, right? I didn't want to learn because it was not cool to learn, So when I seen that movie, which was just after this is years later that I was in high school. I wish I would have had that one teacher that would say, hey, okay, I'll give you the book of the download card now, because it's not cool. It wasn't cool to carry a book because I had to throw chingazos. I'm talking about? That's the way it was, bro.
That was all true too.
The
vatos were in the classroom. Nethead was a real character.
Yeah, that was one of that was without a net. That was us. I went to John Marshall High School. It was a nice school, but we were from the barrio. And there was like 4 different barrios going to that school. So which was our peaches back. You fold them in 4, put it in your back pocket. Because it wasn't cool to carry a book. You could not be carrying a book. Even though I was not a dumb guy, but I'd rather be cool than be the smart guy, which is stupid. Now I think about it now, but it brought me down. It really did. But like Mr. Escalante was a guy that he probably was that cat, and he learned from his mistakes and gave it to the kids. You know what I mean? Beautiful, man. Beautiful story.
Wonderful story.
And when you had to do Abraham Quintanilla, what was that, adjusting to that role and doing that role for the Selena movie? What was that like?
It was the hardest film I've ever done, to be honest with you. It was so hard that it was difficult for me, very difficult. Not the performance so much of the story. It's the fact that none of it, look at it, it's only been 13 months since they killed her. Mm-hmm. So it hadn't been that long. We were all still hurting from the experience. And so we had to do the movie. Everybody said, he's trying to capitalize. No, man. If he had done that movie, there was 5 movies being talked about to be made. There was 4 documentaries, 8 books. She had covers of every magazine in the country and the world. And she became a super, super well understood person, right? So when we were doing the movie, the family didn't come. The mother came one day when we did one of the shots at the Astrodome, in the Houston Astrodome, and she came to see that performance when she was on stage and dancing and singing and all that. But she never came for anything else. So all of the movie, the father was there for every single shot, Emilio. Every shot. He was standing right there. Now, you got to remember, I'm standing there, and we're doing scenes like where I'm playing the drums, and I fall off the drums. They don't want to play. Come on, you're gonna play. What am I gonna play? You're gonna play drums. I don't want to play drums. You're gonna sing. Okay, I'll sing. And cute and buttons, wonderful laugh, light. Okay, I would stop. They go cut. I'd get up, and all of a sudden, I'd look across, man, on the other side of the camera and down a little ways, and there would be Abraham with his back towards us and in heaving sobs. I mean, his whole body was contorting, and he every single day. And I said, this is really hard to do because here I'm having a great time. We're celebrating the life. And I turn around and I realize, what an impact this has been.
He was revisiting that beautiful time.
And I'm playing him.
Wow.
So I'm saying,
you paid him. I didn't like your character. I didn't like his character. I mean, I was like, hey, he's up on the kids, man. But that was the way he was.
That was really him. I mean, I didn't pull his punches, man. Even stuff where he trips and falls. He was always falling. He was always tripping. Kind of clumsy kind of guy, but a really smart. And I gained weight. I went up to 240 pounds.
Took the hair down.
Yeah, everything. I went the whole distance with him. And but it was hard. It was a very difficult situation. And that's why I say it's the hardest film I've ever made.
Every film that Eddie does, man, he just transforms in there, and just like, what a phenomenal actor. I followed Eddie since the beginning, man. See, I saw when he did Zuzu at the Aquarius Theater, and I was about the local, coming in, I'm a real deal. But then when I saw him, and I was sitting second row in the center, because my father-in-law at the time, he was a leader at Mecha, Mecha in Pasadena, PCC. So he got those free tickets, right? So I'm sitting there, and then when Eddie came out with that big old Swiss plate, he looked like he did it to me. He did that snap, and now he had my attention. This motherfucker bad, homie. and that's when I first introduction to Eddie Olmos. So from then, I just following his whole career. Studied him. I studied acting. I studied him more than anything else.
Well, speaking of bad, you're also pretty bad. I'm a big fan of Sons of Anarchy.
Thank you.
Watching the
Mayans,
I feel like we're
phenomenal. This year, I got to tell you, this season starts, on April 19th.
April 19th. Yes.
April 19th at 10 o'clock, or on Tuesday, okay? On FX and
Write it down, Fernando.
Okay? Now, if you watch Sons of Anarchy, to all of you that are watching us right now, if you watch Sons of Anarchy and you saw Emilio then, you will love Mayans MC if you haven't seen it, okay? But if you haven't seen Sons of Anarchy and you haven't seen Mayans, do not watch it. Under any circumstances, read my lips. Do not watch it. It's way too dark. It is so hard-hitting. Forget it, man. This is not a movie for
heart.
It's a lot of passion in this movie, man. And it's real. That's the problem. It's real. I mean, this thing is solid as a rock, but it takes a lot of reality of what's going on along the border, And
we're doing now, what we're doing in season 4, we're bringing everything that's happening in Alcarnan. I brought it over here. Wow. Yeah, I just started that.
Edward and Emilio, thank you guys so much for joining the Compas. We appreciate you guys. Last question for you, Edward. What's calculos?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. But I'm going to break your neck like a toothpick, dude.
You guys, thank you so much. We are so excited about our next guest. We have head coach of the Washington Commanders, Coach Ron Rivera. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. How are you enjoying Radio Row 2022?
It's kind of nice to be here just because of the fact we haven't had it the last 2 years. So it's really cool. It really is.
And Ron, how does it sound when people introduce you, head coach of the Commanders? Is that still kind of weird or getting used to that?
It is a little weird. I'm getting used to it. It's funny because, I was up in Salinas visiting my family, and my father, was in the military. He loves it. All of his military buddies love it. So it was kind of, so for me, the first fan reaction I got from the locals, and they think it's cool. They do.
Did you know for a while you kind of had to keep a secret, top secret?
Yeah, I did, and it's all part of it. It is. It's it's one of those things that for the organization, it's a chance for us to change the page, start a new chapter, and go forward. There's been a lot of things that we've had to deal with, and so to me, I try to preach play. We're going to start a whole new chapter, fellas. Let's create our own history. So that's the key. That's what's important to us.
Coach, and obviously you were Carolina for all those years. Now you're in Washington. What is kind of one of the bigger differences that you've seen now that you've been the head coach of two different organizations?
Well, first of all, the population. I mean, in Carolina where we were, there's about 800,000 people immediately. Up there's a couple million. I mean, that's first thing. It's a huge market. It is. nothing is quiet there. Everything is loud. And then the expectations there get high real fast. Whereas in Carolina, it took us 3 seasons to build it. We were able to put it together, put it in place. For us, they wanted it now. And that's the thing that you got to get people. It takes time to build. You just don't change things right away just because you show up. If you have the right players in place already, you can change it now. We had to build it. We're still building it, and hopefully after this draft, after free agency, we can do it the right way.
And Ron, the DMV area is very diverse. A lot of people from all over the world there, and you being a Latino head coach, it's pretty cool for me and Fernando to be talking to you right now. But just kind of speak on that. How many Latinos are there in football? It can't be that many, but is it getting more and more? You think?
Yeah, I think so because football really is starting to I think get a whole worldwide. As it becomes a thing that everybody plays, people begin to want to. That's the cool thing for it. But for me, I've been very fortunate. My mother's family is from Mexico, from Chihuahua. My father's family is from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. And we've been very fortunate, that I got the opportunity, that I was able to take advantage of it, get my education playing college football and then getting a chance to play in the NFL. And my mom always told me, don't let anybody ever tell you no. Don't let them tell you can't do it. If you want to do it, go do it. So that's what I've done.
And you know what, Coach, now you mentioned that, that's kind of the way I grew up too. I mean, we didn't see a lot of beat writers in the NFL who were Latino or anything. My parents always told me, never let that stop you. I mean, I grew up in Tijuana and went to school there. And
English was my second language in a sense. And then I started picking it up and really, our parents always told us never stop believing.
And really, our parents always told believing
and keep on going, and that's
literally what we did. And
we chased our dreams.
We chased our dreams like you did, and never let that stop you. So that's honestly been a big inspiration. I think growing up was always being told, don't let anything stop you. Keep on achieving your dreams.
One of the big inspirations, as far as I'm concerned, is you see how hard family works. My mom's family, they were farm workers. And so to be out there to see that, that tells you that's not what I want to do. I want to be able to do something else. And so education was something that was preached to us constantly, being, told, hey, get your education. And so I was very fortunate.
And then you see your parents working so hard. You want to be able to give them, your family, a better life, but also help your parents out in a sense. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Because family is everything. And that family, and then you have other people around. Then you have other people around. But literally, family is the one thing that you have and always count on.
No, I agree. Because I was very fortunate, as I said, just because from where I'm from and being around the people that I've been around, that's been really cool. That really has. And my grandparents made a huge impact on me because I got to see them doing their things and just knowing that that's not what I wanted to do.
And Ron, before we let you go, it's a big topic right now in the NFL. Getting more diversity in the head coaches rank. Getting more minorities, more black coaches, but what do you think is going to take in the NFL to kind of get more minorities in those positions of power like yourself?
It's giving them opportunity. This is Nadia Durantes. She's my chief of staff. She's the first Latina.
Yes.
And to work directly with a football. Come on, get over here.
Yeah, I know your story. You're raised in Arizona, but born in LA, right?
Yes.
And how's it been working with Ron?
He's great, and everything about Coach Rivera, I'm gonna hype him. Yeah, he's a great person. Obviously, even better coach. So it's truly a blessing to be on his
staff. Is it kind of surreal at times thinking that you're working with an NFL head coach, especially the way you were raised, being Latina as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't believe it. He's great, and he helps me, and he's a great mentor. All of us on the staff.
What do you want to achieve?
She's going to run the league.
Well, obviously, be where my feet are, obviously, and everything I can do and anything I can do to help our organization.
What are some of the things that you found out about being in an NFL organization and working for them? What are some of the things that you've you've learned about the league and the way the league works?
Every day we're learning something new and just adapting, and then go from there.
So I'm going to put you guys both on the spot. who is winning on Sunday?
You take that one.
You know, I always tell everybody, I give a bad answer. This is how it is. If Cincinnati doesn't protect the quarterback, because remember in the earlier playoff rounds they didn't protect the quarterback, but they still came out on top. If you don't do that against the Rams, it could be different. But if Joe Burrow gets hot and this team plays with confidence, it could be a long day the other way. But hey, just real quick, the reason I put Natalia on is because all a person needs is a chance. She was so impressive in her interview over Zoom, and I'm not a big fan of Zoom, that we had her come out and meet, and then she had to meet my wife. And that to me was the real, when my wife told me, gosh, she's impressive. People just need a chance. And so to your earlier question about what do I think, it's about creating opportunities. And if we can get situations where we can create opportunities for not just, people of color, but for everybody, because if you open up the pool of candidates for a job, you're going to find somebody that's a star. And if you do that and you hire that person, you got a chance to win and be successful. And that's what I really feel has happened with Natalia, is that all she needs is opportunity. And I'm not kidding. When I say she's going to run the league, she's got a chance. She is that type of person.
And Natalia, when you got that opportunity with Ron, what's the advice you share for other people that might get that chance and get their foot in the door and talk to somebody like Ron? What's the best thing you could give them for advice?
Just be yourself and go for it. You can do it.
Well, congratulations to you both. Thank you so much for joining Compas. You know what Compas means, right, Coach? Yeah? Well, you're a Compa. We appreciate it. We appreciate you guys jumping on with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
The Compas are now being joined by a total badass, Julianna Pena, 135 UFC champion. Julianna, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, you guys. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Julianna, walking around with that belt here at Super Bowl Radio Row, how does it feel just carrying that gold around you?
It feels awesome. I mean, I definitely even consider the fact that it was a thing. I had no idea. They said, hey, do you want to come to LA? I said, yeah, sure. And then when I got here, my eyes got as big as plates. I didn't know that there was this amount of media coverage on the Super Bowl, but I can honestly say I am not surprised.
You're kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals. You're the underdog. You want the best of the best. You go and face Amanda Nunes. You kept calling her out, for I felt like years, and you finally got her. I guess for you, when you finally did people thought unthinkable, were you kind of like Nate Diaz, you were not surprised?
Yeah, no, I wasn't surprised. In fact, I think I remember you come UFC 200. Amanda won that night. I won that night, and I've been calling her out since then. That was over 5 years ago. So this is not something that I'm just trying to talk crap and run my mouth. This is something that has been brewing for over 5 years. So to finally get my shot and to capitalize and say, I told you guys, you needed to listen to me, and now realize that it's not falling on deaf ears. I mean, it's a good feeling. It makes me happy.
What was your biggest takeaway? I mean, after that victory, you know that you can beat her, but it's about showing the whole world. But after, what was the biggest lesson or your biggest takeaway after that victory?
The biggest takeaway is do not get complacent. Do not be stagnant. Do not be content with what you have. I expected to win this belt. I expected to walk away with it, but it doesn't make me excited every night knowing that I can just rest on my laurels and forget about, what's going on in the future. This is just the beginning for me. I'm ready to get started and go on to figuring out how I can get some more rubies on this guy. I need more rubies on the belt, and I'm ready to go forward and to defend it and to show them once again that I am the new champion. This is my time, and just to not be complacent where you're at. It's time to go get now.
And Julianna, one of the cool things about your story is that you're a mother as well. A champion, a mother. How's that been for you doing that? It's
been great. So we're filming Ultimate Fighter right now in Vegas, and she's with me every step of the way. It's almost like everywhere you go, I go, champ. Like this little girl is on my hip, and she's literally with me every step of the way. And it's so cool that she gets to see everything like this. I mean, she's only 4 years old. I had to yank her out of preschool for a month, but it's worth it, so that she can see, what it is that I do. And I feel like she'll get more world experience at 4 years old, following me around and watch my journey than any other 4-year-old. So I'm happy that she gets to be with me and kind of show her what it's all about.
That's pretty cool. And Julianna, I think your family is from Venezuela, right?
My dad is from Venezuela, yes.
And how's kind of been the reception back over there? Have you kind of got a feel for it?
Yeah, it's amazing. I have so much family still in Venezuela, and I am so proud and honored to represent my Venezuelan heritage. And my mom is Mexican, Native American, and so I got of a little combo of blood in me, but I'm just happy to put the Latinos on, to let and hold it down for the Latinos and let them know we are here, we're here to stay, and it's not going anywhere. I think that I'm very proud to be Hispanic and to be putting it down for the Latinos and
There you go. I love that Eddie
all day.
Guerrero mentioned there. Juliana, it must have been a big showdown in South America because Amanda Nunez being from Brazil. But I guess what's next for you? Is there a rematch in store for that?
Yeah, so right now we're filming The Ultimate Fighter. It's been day 2. Things are already off to a little bit of a heated start, but I suspect that we're going to be great coaches, and it's just about the success of my team and making sure that I'm being the best coach that I can, so that my fighters, come away with the best experience from The Ultimate Fighter. I know that The Ultimate Fighter for me was an amazing experience, and I just want to give back to them and let them have an equal opportunity to live out their dream like I did. And after that, of course, the coaches have to fight at the end of the season. So we're definitely, there's a rematch in the books and on the horizon. Absolutely.
Right now, I mean, you're smiling. Beautiful teeth, by the way.
Thank you.
Your beautiful smile. But,
Thank you.
What triggers it? What changes it? What makes you go into being the Venezuelan vixen? What turned you into that?
It's the way I was conditioned. I'm the baby of 4. I have a very large family, and then conditioned to be a dog on the inside. There is a dog that lives inside of me. It's that dog mentality, that relentlessness, that never giving up, that when one door closes, I'm not going to be deterred. I'm not going to get offended. I'm going to go find another door and go walk right through that one and blow the hinges off that door. I just have a dog mentality in me of never giving up and never quitting. And, it might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow, but I'm coming for it, and I'm not going to stop until I get it. And even when I do get it, I'm going to keep on coming and make sure that I continue to have it forever.
She kind of changed right there.
I got scared for a little bit. Juliana, you think that was probably why you won that fight? Because many people went into the cage, a little afraid of Amanda, seeing what she does, especially what she did to Cyborg, Ronda Rousey. And you weren't afraid of that.
No, absolutely not. It's fighting. If you're afraid of who you're fighting, or you're afraid of your opponent, you've already lost. You know what I mean? If you can have them getting under your skin, they beat you. You're already defeated. It's a fighting thing. It's a confidence thing. It's a thing where it's like, if you weigh the same amount as me and you're a girl and I'm a girl, I don't care who you are. If you're standing across the octagon from me, you're in trouble, and you're going to remember that you were in a fight with Julianna Pena, period. So it don't matter. Amanda Nunes, Chris Cyber, whoever you want to put in front of me, let's fight, plain and simple.
Juliana, last question before we let you go. I know you have a busy schedule. Thank you for joining us. Rams, Bengals, who you got?
I'm going to go for the LA Rams. I'm not following as closely as I should be. I didn't know that the Bengals are underdogs, and I'm going to apologize for that in the future for saying so. But I actually got on a Zoom call with Sean McVay before my fight, and man, he pumped me up. And I'm also excited that he's the youngest coach, I think, ever in the history of the NFL. I think that's awesome, and I think that it's awesome that I personally had a chance to connect with him. And of course, my agent Chad Bronstein he's a very close personal friend of Sean McVay. So I would, be burned at the stake if I didn't go for the LA Rams. So I'm definitely going for the Rams. Timeout. And Cooper Kupp. He was the receiver for the Eastern Washington College, and I'm from there. I'm from Spokane, Washington, and that is our college, and so we're from the same area. And he's like one of the best receivers of all time, right? I mean, he put Brady on the couch. So I am so gunning for Cooper Kupp, and I'm excited to see what he can do, and I'm definitely going for the LA Rams.
Bring in the fire, the Venezuelan vixen, the total badass Julianna Pena. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Joining the Compas next is legendary announcer Michael Buffer. You know him, you love him. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Michael, just being out here at Super Bowl Radio Row, does it kind of compare to a lead up to a big fight where just media guys get together, former boxers get together, like former football players? Does it kind of feel a little bit like that?
It's unbelievable. When I was in Miami 2 years ago, I participated in this Radio Row thing. It's just the Super Bowl becomes the biggest event in the world, and it has a great matchup. I'm really, I say I was on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network, and they got a kick out of the fact I refer to them as the Cinderella Kitty Cats. You know, they're the Bengals, the Tigers, come to Hollywood. And what a lot of people don't realize, they think like, wow, the Rams are playing at home. Well, that's great. They get to sleep in their own beds. But all my friends that work at the Rams, with the Rams organization, hands off, man. The NFL comes in and takes over SoFi. They run everything in this town from this point on.
Definitely. Michael, before Fernando asks you about the Rams, I got to ask you about the belt that this lovely lady is holding right here. Is that the Triller Fight Club? Hi, Jen. Nice to meet you. What can you tell us about Triller and that belt right there?
It's Triller puts together Triad Combat. And they've done boxing before. They've done events where using the regular ring, MMA against boxing. Boxing teams have the edge usually. So they've changed up the rules. They use smaller gloves, fingers inside, not an MMA glove, but it's a boxing glove. And then the fighter can grab his opponent, can grab the shoulder, grab the arms, manipulate them, move them, which MMA guys know how to do with balance and movement. So it sort of levels the playing field. And for an MMA fighter who's a really good striker, because there's no kicking involved in this, it's going to give us some really interesting matches. So we've got some good stuff coming up. We just postponed our Houston event because of COVID protocols, but good stuff coming up for the spring and summer on Triller, and it'll be available on Fight TV.
Michael, when you look at this matchup, and you spoke about it a little bit, but what makes the Rams such a great football team and probably the favorite? They're obviously the favorite heading into this game. But in your opinion, what makes them the favorite heading into Sunday?
I think I look at the teams as being equal. You know, like I can see why the Rams would be the favorite because the veteran quarterback versus the young gunslinger. That young gunslinger's got 4,600 yards passing to two receivers with 2,500 yards combined, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, a great offense mixing running back, and their defense shows they know how to play football. Remember, they were down by 18 points with 35 minutes to go. They had a goal line stand, and then in the second half, they held them to 3 points and came back and won that game. The defense, in my opinion, is going to win this game. When the Rams beat the 49ers to get into, in the conference championship to get into the Super Bowl, they came out knowing they had to stop Garoppolo. And he had 2 minutes to go, a minute 40, kick a field goal, tied the game. And they came out possessed. If that defense can carry over, that will make the Rams. What we've seen in these last 6 playoff games, 4 overtime games, 5 walk-off scores, just amazing competition. But for some reason, every team would have a bad half and a good half, whether it was first or second half. And it just made for great football. But if either one of these teams Sunday can put together 60 minutes instead of just 30 minutes, we're going to see that it's going to be the winner. I think defense will win the game.
Michael, when I look at Joe Burrow, I feel like if he was a boxer and he came out to the ring, he might come out with the sunglasses, with a big overcoat. What do you think about Joe? They call him Joe Cool. What do you think about him?
He's amazing. He's Joe Cool. It's almost like this is before your time, but in 1968, Joe Namath, I mean, he was cool. He was laying in the lounge chair by the pool doing interviews and he was, 24 years old at the time, won that Super Bowl against the almighty Baltimore Colts. I mean, they were, I think, a 16-point underdog. Unbelievable. And they dominated that game. And Joe Willie came through with a great performance. Like I say, some guys are just born to be cool. But that's a good point. If he were a fighter, he would come to the ring with the most outstanding robe possible. He'd be at a press conference wearing sunglasses, and he is cool, but he's really, really focused and knows the game. That's what makes a big difference. I mean, he's a brilliant player and dedicated to being fit. He tore his leg up last year. There's no way anybody comes back and plays like that for the first 6 weeks of the season. He should have been still rehabbing, and he started week 1, and now it's in his 20th game.
Michael, it's funny because Fernando here compared Joe Bird to Joe Namath, and I'm saying you're going way back. Think alike there. But this question you might not be able to say because it could be a secret, maybe, Michael. But you do your famous line, "Let's get ready to rumble." For the kickoff for the Rams games at SoFi. This game's at SoFi. Will you be doing that, or is that something you can't say?
No, the NFL takes over, and they can't make it into a home game anymore. But you got to remember, I've done 12 NFL teams, Cowboys multiple times. The Rams before, when they were known as the St. Louis Rams. When Vermeil was there, I did a couple of home openers and the home game after they won the Super Bowl, and Green Bay, Titans, all over the place. I've done a lot of games for different teams.
So not the Raiders, right? They're spoken for. Bruce Buffer handling that. and Michael, obviously your voice sounds great. You're a legend doing this at ringside.
Thank you.
Been doing it for many years. How many more years you got in? You're going to keep doing it until, I guess.
I'm going to be 78 this year, man.
You got more in you?
I think I'm going to. COVID has been a disaster, but I've sort of enjoyed being home a lot, and I'm kind of getting used to that. So, just get on the horse, ride off into the sunset, and maybe come back for a few biggies here and there, but getting close to retirement.
Okay, a few more big fights in Las Vegas.
Yeah, maybe.
Michael, I got to ask you about a big fight that was announced, I think, yesterday. Canelo Alvarez, Triple G3. What do you think about that fight?
Was that been announced? I didn't hear that. For Cinco de Mayo?
No, September 7th.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was the plan that I heard, probably in September. A great fight. I guess it'll be at 168.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Great fight. And I'm really, really impressed with Canelo since the first Triple G fight, which I thought, and a lot of people thought, that Triple G won. And it was called a draw. And then from that point on, we've seen the development of a really great fighter, who probably, if he considered going up to cruiserweight, maybe a catchweight at 190, I don't think he'd have a lot of difficulty fighting at that weight. He's really, really a great fighter.
And Michael, you probably get this question all the time, but what's kind of been your favorite memory in boxing, or a favorite fight that you had when you were calling ringside?
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you what, to say what was the best fight, there's just so many. I mean, really a lot of great fights. Mike Alvarez and Brandon Rios 10 years ago. That probably is the best fight I've ever seen, for 6 rounds, and then Rios wins with a TKO in the 7th round. Fans, go to YouTube and look that video up. That you never see anything like it. Okay, but one of the best moments I've ever experienced, and it was not a good fight. George Foreman, Michael Morrow. George Foreman is losing every minute of every round, and comes through at the age of 45 with a 10th round KO, 10th or 11th round. I think it was a 10th round KO. It was a 1-2. It sort of just rocks him for a split second, and then he just splits those gloves with a left jab and a straight right shot to the chin, knocks Moore out cold. Usually when that happens, the crowd explodes when a fighter goes down. In this case, even though just for a split second, I still remember the feeling. The crowd went like that. When you hear 12,000 people gasp, it's pretty noisy, and then it just exploded like, holy, what did I just see? That was a great moment that I'll always remember.
That's awesome, especially with George Foreman. He was kind of this monster, the Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson, and he loses to Muhammad Ali, and then steps away for 10 years and comes back and does that. So that's pretty cool to hear your side from that fight there.
Selling those grills and eating hamburgers and training, and it was a great moment.
Michael, I got to put you on the spot this weekend. Who wins the Super Bowl?
Like I said before, I can't pick a team. I look at it as even, and I'm just being political. I mean, but the defense is going to win that game, in my opinion.
So when the ball's
somebody's got to make 3rd down stops and have the other team punt more than their team. That's the bottom line. That's what's going to do it. Turnovers could ruin anybody's prediction, and so let's not. You can't make a point there. That could change anything. Defense.
If this was a Rams home game, before the ball kicks off, you're on the microphone. What would you say before the ball's kicked off?
Well, when I did the home opener for the Rams, they said you got 30 seconds. Well, I could say, Rams fans, are you ready? And get the crowd. And then it was like 20 seconds and then for the last two games or playoff games, it was like 15 seconds. So it's blah, blah, blah. Let's get ready to rumble. So there's not much you can do. You're a slave to TV.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Jen, thank you so much for joining us. And have fun. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Okay,
Enjoy
guys.
Radio Row.
Yeah. Have a good week.
Joining us next on Compas on the Feed is a good friend of the show, PFF reporter Doug Hyde. Doug, thank you so much. You helped us out with some Patriot stuff. We've seen you around a lot. Obviously, how did the season end out for you, and how are you doing today?
It went well. It was my first season kind of covering the entire NFL rather than just the Patriots. So definitely fun, and it's been a busy week already down here at the Super Bowl as well.
And Doug, is this your first or first of many Super Bowls for you?
First of many. Covered the Patriots for a number of years. So this is last year was the first Super Bowl I missed since 2014. So I've kind of lost count, I guess.
That must have been weird for you not have to be here.
I was like sitting on the couch and being like, what do I do right now to cover a Super Bowl? But yeah, back at it this year. So that's definitely good.
I know your job changed because you were the Patriots beat reporter. Now you're, PFF. Do you kind of embrace this, shorter, quick to the off season, or you're still just as busy?
I'd say that I'm just as busy. I'd say I was at the Senior Bowl last week, so that was a change. Usually, I feel like I'm bragging for the Patriots here, but like when you cover the Patriots, you cover AFC Championship games almost every year. So I hadn't covered the Senior Bowl since 2012, actually, when like Russell Wilson was there and Kirk Cousins. Makes me feel old when I was there all those years ago. So it was fun to be there again this year. It's kind of giving me a different chance to cover the NFL this year, which is good.
I gotta ask you. I mean, it's starting to get a little ridiculous at this point. What's going on with Tom Brady? I feel like, we grew up, our moms, our aunts watching novelas. Feels like Brady and Giselle and everything is a novella. So, can you make light of it? I mean, last week, hey, I'm retired. This week, hey, we've never. Is he pulling a Brett Favre? Like, what? Make it make sense for us, please.
It's so weird trying to read into what Tom Brady means when he says things, because Tom Brady has literally said before that he doesn't mean what he says to the media. So like when he says something, you're like, all right, so are you being genuine right now? Are you telling the truth? Whatever it is. I think that he's probably retired. Like I think that he's probably leaning that way, but I'd also set it at probably a non-zero chance that he returns. I don't know where that would be. People are already talking about the 49ers and Trey Lance isn't ready, or Josh McDaniels went to the Raiders, but I don't know. I think he's probably retired, but I would say there's some slim % chance that he could be back. And he did. He opened up that door this week or last week, whenever it was, talking to Jim Gray.
And then they had to take it back, or not really take it back, but they maybe were a little too soon. You have a tweet saying, thank you, Tom, for everything. It was so great, and you took it down. How did that work out?
I just left it up. I'd say that like everything that I tweeted about Tom Brady stood, whether he was retired or not. Like a lot of mine was just kind of like a career perspective, but I was like covering all that stuff. And at that point, I still kind of had a good idea that he was going to announce his retirement. It was more just about the timing of when he wanted to get that out. And it's actually really strange that it did leak before he got the opportunity to put that out there. And then, even the day that he retired, it was amazing because it quickly got overshadowed by Brian Flores' lawsuit against the NFL. So like Tom Brady retiring wasn't even the biggest story of that day, which was pretty wild.
So do you think that maybe that's why he jumped on and said, hey, maybe I do want to come back. Maybe to start thinking and say, hey, don't forget about me. I'm Tom Brady. I should be celebrating. I mean, I honestly didn't think he would do the whole Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, the whole Kobe Bryant farewell tour or anything like that. But I honestly thought maybe he did kind of want, after so many years, and after whatever happened with the Patriots, I thought maybe he'd want to get his flowers and be like, oh, hey, this, that. But I don't know what you get a sense of that, or more than we do.
I wasn't surprised that he kind of just sprung it on people, I'd say. I don't think that he did want to do that farewell thing. He even said afterwards that would have wound up being a distraction for him and probably for the team as well. But I did think it was a little bit anticlimactic, and obviously the report that Schefter and Darlington put out there played into this, but just that it wound up being like a 9-picture slideshow on Instagram to announce his retirement rather than just this much bigger event that I feel like it probably could have been.
Now, Doug, you like to break news. We all do, especially, the offseason coming up. We started the big game, the Super Bowl, but what's kind of the big thing you're looking for before free agency and the draft? Is it like a rumor you're hearing that might even, manifest throughout the whole, offseason?
And real quick, you said big. Look to your right, and there's big Josh Allen walking right by us, and that dude's bigger in person. Sorry, Gilbert, you could continue. Sorry.
I'm looking at the quarterback situation that's still out there. What happens? Because, it was January 30th, something like that last year when Matthew Stafford got traded to the Rams. Could Russell Wilson be on the move? I still think that that's a possibility. Could someone like Aaron Rodgers be on the move? That's definitely a possibility. Could Aaron Rodgers retire? That's obviously another thing as well. But I think that those are the big things that could still be happening before agency. We'll be watching that at the combine and everything like that. But the Wilson thing is really interesting because if he gets traded, then that's another thing that could set off a bunch of dominoes down the line. One other thing too is just the whole Kyler Murray thing is interesting right now because he deleted a bunch of pictures off his social media, deleted the Cardinals off his social media. He shares an agent with Cliff Kingsbury, so I don't expect him to go anywhere, but it is definitely notable that he's coming to the offseason and it looks like he's kind of making a power play there. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, though.
You feel like this could be the craziest offseason of quarterbacks?
It certainly could be. Last year I think it was, it had the potential to be that. But if Russell Wilson gets traded and if Aaron Rodgers gets traded, then yeah, I think absolutely. And we're starting to see this a little bit more, I think, of quarterbacks not just being willing to stay with the same team for years and years and years and years. And I was talking to someone else yesterday about this. I'm curious to see when the next quarterback is that takes a smaller contract, similar to what Tom Brady did for years with the Patriots, where even with the Buccaneers, he was only making $25 million a year. You're seeing guys making double that at this point, and it seems like that would be a pretty sizable advantage to be a quarterback willing to take less. I'm not sure who that's going to be at some point. You have to think that someone will be doing that.
You know what? I told Gilbert, if there's one quarterback that I could see doing it, Gilbert's going to laugh at me. But I think Justin Herbert might be that one quarterback that could potentially do it if he trusts what's going on around him, if he trusts the vision. That's what Tom Brady did, in my opinion. He trusted the vision that Bill Belichick, that the ownership had. And I mean, he trusted it at a time where they had come off 3 Super Bowls, and it's like, okay, what's next? What are we going to do next? And there were some really bad but good. Like perfect season. But then there was that little down, and then boom, you pick it back up. Right. So I feel like if Justin trusted what's going on around him, he could potentially be that next quarterback. I might do it, but obviously I don't have
a way of trying to make it a Chargers-related show. People have a lot of listeners that like the Chargers, so that was his kind of spin there.
It's tough for those guys, I'd say. It's tough for the guys entering their rookie contracts is still in their rookie contracts because they want to get that huge paycheck. They want to get that huge payday. But like I said, it would make sense for someone like that to do it where like the Chargers and the Bengals right now and a number of other teams with quarterbacks on rookie contracts have a huge advantage with that quarterback making less.
According to Tom Telesco, he does not.
Well, they're going to lose that advantage once they're not on that rookie deal. So I don't know. I'm not sure if it even ever happens again because the NFLPA might step in, but I do think some quarterbacks should. I don't know. It's tough to tell them to do that, but I think it would be an advantage.
All right, it's a big game. That's why we're here, gathered in at the LA Convention Center. I won't ask you just yet who you think is going to win, but what are you looking for in terms of matchup? I know people are really hyped on the Jalen Ramsey, Jamar Chase matchup, or is that something you're looking out for? Or what's something people are kind of maybe underestimating in this big game going on?
I think that's obviously a big matchup. I think that whichever Bengals wide receiver doesn't draw Jalen Ramsey or Darius Williams, that's going to be a big matchup in this game as well. But for me, the number one thing, and I know that a lot of people are talking about this as well, is just about Aaron Donald, Von Miller against that Bengals offensive line. And Joe Burrow has found ways to win despite having a pretty spotty offensive line. But there's no player in the NFL like Aaron Donald. He is the best defensive player in the NFL. He could win Defensive Player of the Year every single year. I think the only reason he doesn't is that people at some point are just sick of giving it to him. But he had a chance to take over this game. He has the ability to take over this game. And if he does, I think it's going to be tough for the Bengals to respond to that. But they've found ways to win despite that offensive line this season.
When you look at Joe Burrow, he's so calm, cool, and collected. The 9 sacks against Tennessee, and he just shook it off and said, all right, let's keep on going. Against Kansas, I think Kansas City might have brought him down only once, if I remember that. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen a quarterback quite as cool as him. I mean, because obviously we weren't around. I don't even think our parents were around during the Joe Namath years, but it feels like he's kind of maybe that next Joe Namath where he's just calm, cool, collected. He attracts attention, even though he doesn't kind of look for it. It's just him being him, I think.
You even see it, I'd say, in the post-game press conferences where he kind of sits back, relaxes, answers all of his questions. And yeah, I think it does take a special quarterback not to panic in those situations and not to throw a guy under the bus or anything like that. But if Baker Mayfield was sacked 9 times in a game, can you imagine how he would have reacted in that situation? That's the other Ohio team, that's the other AFC North team, and it just would have gone so much more poorly. But for Joe Burrow, he just kept getting back there, shrugged it off, brushed it off, and performed. So I don't know. I think it does. It's just one of those weird intangible things. And I wrote recently a piece asking people around the NFL if they prefer Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow. It was pretty split down the middle, I'd say. People in the NFL preferred Burrow. People at PFF actually preferred Herbert. But one of the things that people in the NFL kept bringing up was just he's got that it factor. He's got the intangibles. He plays cool under pressure. He's a winner. It's these things that you can't measure. And coming from Pro Football Focus, it's tough to say yeah, he's a winner. Yeah, he plays cool, whatever it is. But there is just something intangible about the quarterback position that sometimes you can't measure. And Joe Burrow does seem to have that whatever it factor it is that he brings.
Yeah, that's kind of a good debate you have there, Doug, because Herbert has all the talent, rocket arm, mobile, could do a lot more things than Joe Burrow. But for some reason, the guy wins, and that's all that matters in the NFL. It kind of feels like, because Fernando went back to Joe Namath, I'm going back to the 80s. Dan Marino, all the talent in the world, but couldn't win.
Yep.
And then you have, Joe Montana, not as talented before Super Bowl. So, it's kind of pick who do you want. But I think for the coaches, we're always kind of striving for that. It's a win. But I'm guessing there's a lot of people out there that are just kind of enamored with Justin Herbert just as a talent. But I'm guessing maybe eventually he could have that kind of it factor you're talking about.
No, I think he can. And like you said, he's got the tools. He's got the rocket arm. He's got the mobility. He can make every single throw. Just purely talent-wise, I'd say that he is more talented than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow does have, he doesn't have the strongest arm. He's a good athlete, but he's not as mobile as Justin Herbert. And, there were, I guess, some questions just about Justin Herbert's mentality, whatever it was, coming out of Oregon. I think he's proven those things wrong. I think that 1,000% he can be a winner. The fact that he had to play under a rookie head coach this season, I'm a big fan of Brandon Staley, but maybe next season he could easily be in Joe Burrow's place, and then we could be, having this debate all over again. But all in all, the AFC is in an unbelievable place with these quarterbacks. We haven't even talked about Patrick Mahomes, and like you said, Josh Allen walked by here before. It's pretty crazy how many talented young quarterbacks are in the AFC right now.
That's what I wanted to talk. You brought up Baker Mayfield, and I feel like that's the biggest, I think domino kind of to maybe fall. I think him and Lamar Jackson are the 2 dominoes that I'm waiting to see fall. And I feel like that's when everything else is going to get into place. Will they both get their contract extensions, or will they not? Baltimore's waiting for some reason. I mean, it's strange. Buffalo already got Josh Allen done, and you're kind of like, well, what's Baltimore waiting for? And then with Cleveland, there's a lot of questions. I mean, even the fans are split on whether they want him or not. What do you feel like? What do you feel like about those two? What do you think their futures are?
I think Lamar Jackson gets extended. I think that would be a smart move for Baltimore. Baker Mayfield. I wrote something about Mayfield earlier in the season. That was before he really continued to struggle down the line. I don't think he gets an extension. I think that you let him play on the 5th-year option. And then you even have some options beyond that of franchising him. You could franchise him up to 2 different times. I think that you just can't commit that massive contract you would have to give to him until he proves that he can be an effective quarterback and that he can stay healthy. And to this point, he's just been a little bit too inconsistent. So that's what I would say on that. You know?
Doug, prediction for Sunday.
My head says the Rams are going to win. My heart says the Bengals are going to win. The Bengals just keep getting it done. So even though it doesn't make sense, I'm going to pick the Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals on this one.
Doug, thank you so much for jumping on with us. You're a friend of the show. You're a compa, so we definitely appreciate you jumping on with us.
I love it. Thanks, guys. Anytime.
Okay. Wow. A lot of, like we mentioned, a lot of great guests, a lot of great information. Man, we took you guys to what the heck is Tom Brady going to do with Doug? We took you to the octagon. We took you to ringside with Michael Buffer. Man, it was a wild ride, Gilbert. I mean, so many, and Dan, so many great interviews.
Thank you for not forgetting me.
Yeah, Dan, go ahead and mute yourself. We don't want to hear from you. Just kidding. You're a great person. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the interviews because, and yes, a little all over the place. You want to hear some football, I get it. We're here for football and we're here for Chargers, whatever. It was great conversations today, especially, man, you grew up watching those movies with the actors Edward James Olmos and Emilio Rivera. And you're a big fight fan. Julianna Pena really broke it down. She had the upset over Amanda Nunes. I was kind of giddy over that one. And then, Michael Buffer, you're a boxing fan. Not even just a boxing fan. You know the name Michael Buffer. Let's get ready to rumble. I didn't do that well. I'll leave that to Dan and Dago. And I'm already blanking. Ron Rivera. The Ron Rivera one was great. When I asked him about, how can you improve, diversity in the NFL, he started looking around. I'm thinking, this guy's going to blow me off here. I get it's a controversial topic, but I just got to ask. No, he was looking for his assistant, Natalia, hopefully I didn't get it wrong, Durantes. She's a special assistant to Ron Rivera. And he said she's going to run the NFL one day. So that was a big
shout out. She got to be running things.
Shout out to Natalia Durantes who came through. So that moment was cool for me. We took pictures with Edward and Emilio. Man, and I'm really blanking. But we talked football with Doug, right? So there was something there.
What are you talking about? We talked football with Emilio and Edward also.
Michael Buffer, he knew his stuff.
Oh my God. Michael Buffer was out here breaking it
Michael Buffer
on with the Compas.
Michael Buffer was like literally he's like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins need to be doing what they're doing. He's like, I don't think Jalen Ramsey will be covering Jamar Chase the whole time, so that'll be a different way to exploit them. And I'm like, oh my God, like this guy really does know exactly like what he's talking about. But Dan, I mean, just what was one of your big takeaways besides Michael Buffer?
I thought it was really cool just to hang out. I really enjoyed the Edward and Emilio because obviously I saw Sons of Anarchy. I'm a big fan. Mayans is also really dope. And it was just crazy just listening to him talk. Like it felt like you were at a table with your tios, their older generation, just kind of listening to him and all that stuff. They'd say things and you're like, oh, damn, okay. It still happens like that nowadays or this or that. I think he had some great inside baseball on everyone's favorite movie in the Hispanic community, Selena, because we'll do anything for Selena's. And it was just such a great conversation. Ron Rivera, great guy, stud. Oh, my God. They talk about old man strength, but that guy, I'm sure, is bench pressing 300 pounds. That guy is yoked. He's massive. I'm sure he'd kick Stooges. Oh, I can't say that other word, but his butt over here if they ever try to have a quarrel or whatever. Just a great interview, honestly, all around. Dude, I'm not even going to lie. I got pretty hyped when I saw the champ rolling in. We saw that fight. And, it's just a typical, like, everyone loves rooting for the underdog. I remember I was watching it, and I was telling them, why can't she beat Amanda Nunes? Like, she puts on her shorts on the same way that Pena does. Like, why not? You know what I mean? Great fight. I was hyped. I was too timid to ask to take a picture with the belt. I ain't even going to lie to you. I saw the way she was clutching in. I'm like, I'm not even going to ask her. Might get a black nugget in my eye for that one.
So basically, the reason why, or did you want to add something to
I was going to say that was probably our biggest fumble of the day is not getting a picture with that belt and the Champagne. Because, that was a shiny belt there. But other than that, we got some nice pictures, right?
Well, you have to remember, Fernando also got her like super last minute. She had to move on to the next stage.
That was cool, though. Like, that was clutch for me. Actually, a big shout out that I say, right? I feel like I'm butchering it. But big shout out to you for now. You're kind of like our agent for bringing guests on or booking. You're like hustling and moving. I'm like, where's Fernando? He's over there. He's making money moves. So I appreciate that, man. You brought her over.
And next year we're going to be even better than this. I'm definitely going to be even more on the lookout. But the reason why, I mean, obviously speaking of Shad Ad and all that, Pat McAfee is. By the way, I have one more day. I have 24 hours to make good on that bet, and Gilberto will buy me dinner. But it is incredible the energy that Pat McAfee brings to Radio Row. Like Radio Row is usually, and I've been to 2 separate Radio Rows. This is my 3rd one. This is my first one actually here doing a show, but it's never been as loud as it was today. Like Pat has really brought a new energy to the Radio Row, and then today he brings out. He had a special show just because he wanted to see fans and experience the fans. There was no fans, obviously, due to COVID, but they allowed fans at 3 p.m. Pat, they had easily about, 60 fans there, probably 70, but it was so loud. And then he brings on Wiz Khalifa. Well, what does Wiz do? Give me a microphone. Black and Yellow. He does
Young, Wild, and Free.
Young, Wild, and Free. And then he did the Champagne one too. And Pat's like, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like champagne. He's like, yeah, no, neither do I. That was my champagne drinking phase. But Pat was on the top of the table dancing a little bit. They were getting all wild. Oh, my God, it was so much fun. That's probably the first concert ever on Radio Row. So it was just completely awesome. But, man, oh, my God, the Wiz Khalifa concert was actually a lot of fun to be a part of.
You know, the best part was, like, you know, they were trying to have a concert and they couldn't have the music too loud because there's actually people working. And I wonder how people felt about having kind of the Pat McAfee show in the background. But to the credit of Wiz Khalifa and Pat, like, it was still a fun concert. Even though the music was a little low for me, I'm like, I know these songs. I'm gonna hang out with these kids over here, and like kind of start waving my hands in the air like I don't care. I sound so old. But you know, the best part was, like, I was looking around. I'm enjoying the concert here with Wiz Khalifa performing some of his best songs. I'm like, where's Fernando? And then Dan Dale comes over. Where's Fernando? I have no idea where you are. Then I see you posted a nice video where my video is a bunch of heads in front of the camera. And you're like, have this great side angle that's probably going to blow up on TikTok. So I don't know how you did it, Fernando.
So when Dan and Diego and I were watching when he first started talking, Dan and I stood there for about 45 minutes listening to the opening of the show. And I noticed that security was not letting any fan just stand there. You had to have a credential to stand there. So I said, oh, okay, cool. So when I saw that happen, that's why, I don't know if you heard me, but I said, follow me. I got a good spot. But you decided to like wait there. So I was like, okay. So I went the other way and I went to the side and they were right there. So I was just getting all the videos. I was doing all that stuff. So it was honestly a lot of fun to watch that. And then I had a couple of times where Wiz comes over and he kind of points at me with the camera. So that was a lot of fun. So, and then in one of those, Pat looks at me and he's like, and he's like dancing. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And then it's funny because I ran into him in the bathroom and I told him like, and I was like, you guys would bring an effing concert to the first concert ever to Radio Row, and Pat just dies of laughter. So it was honestly awesome. It was honestly an awesome moment. Obviously, like I said, first concert ever at Radio Row.
Yeah, I felt like Dan and Diego was probably out of place with that cowboy hat. Or did you enjoy yourself, man?
Excuse me, sir. I like a little whiz. I like a little raps. It ain't my main slice, but I mean, I get into it a little bit. Like, Fran will recall when I won our second back-to-back title at St. Augustine High School way back when, I think the popular song was We Dem Boys. And I remember blatantly just blasting that damn song all the way down from school to the Haas. And but yeah, I dabble in it. But you know me, bro. Like, I'm old school. I kind of like the older stuff. Like, I have some Eazy-E. I love the gangster rap stuff. I have some Tupac.
I'm very surprised about you. And then you just gave a shout out to your JV championship rings. Good for you, man.
Look at this dude. Look at this scumbag. It's a family show, kids show. That's why I'm not gonna get myself worked up. Since Monday, when I posted that picture with Pat and Mr. AJ Hawk himself, he's been trying to just bring me down because I've been so elated all week. That my week was made on night one. Like, can you imagine that? And this stooge the whole time, pulling out a bigger shovel every day, trying to just pull dirt on my hopes and dreams and everything else. He's the dark cloud around this table always. Never forget that.
Gilbert, was Eminem? I didn't see anything about Eminem being there. He wasn't there.
No Eminem, no Kendrick Lamar, which was kind of my guess when I saw 3 chairs out there. Our good friend MJ Acosta Ruiz was the one hosting it, and Nate Burleson. So it was a 2 chairs and then 3, and we're all waiting what's going to happen. They bring out some business suits to talk to us for a little bit. We were like, get out the stage. We want to hear from you. You're promoting Pepsi. Who cares?
Boo.
And they do like a hype video, like, all right, get it over with. And then Snoop, Dre, and Mary J. Blige came out, and it was pretty cool. I was in front of Adam Hill. We were just taking our videos there. I bet you were there. You probably would have found a good spot somewhere for better content.
I probably would have. I don't know why I've always been able to do that, but did the media do what I think they did and start cheering and everything when they walked out?
Yeah, the people with the actual legit TV cameras were like, sit down, like whatever, and we just didn't care. We stood up, took our pictures.
Wait, but Kendrick Lamar is not doing the halftime, right? He was just there for fun, or what?
No, he's gonna do it. He just wasn't there. You know, I think the Kendrick and
there was 5 people on the poster.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I seriously just thought it was Dre, Eminem, and who was the other one? Oh, Snoop. Obviously, yeah, my bad. And Mary J. Blige
and Kendrick Lamar.
Wow.
And Eminem.
I had no idea.
Well,
no idea.
Fernando, if you're gonna get Pat McAfee, might as well get the big 5 from the Super Halftime show where you're at it, right now.
You know what's funny is that I feel like if I got them on, I feel like we would have a great interview with them, and I feel like we'd have a lot of fun. And I honestly, I've interacted with Snoop before, and Snoop was super cool. So I didn't ask him about chicken wings or why he was late or anything like that. So yeah, it was just one of those fun things. But man, today was killer. I'm expecting another killer day Friday. I cannot wait. But any final thoughts from either one of you guys before we head out and go have dinner?
I'd just like to say one thing. Let me pull in my inner CM Punk. I got a lot of... No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go on some monologue. No, I just want to say, honestly, it was a great day. This was the first Radio Row for your boy over here, Dan and Diego. And let me just say, it's been wild. It's been 100 miles per hour every day, despite what this stooge over here says. We've been out here just working, man. It was just so crazy to see how, like, literally these guys are just walking around and the great conversations and everything. You learn so much. I'm not even gonna lie. I've learned a lot since I've been here, just about ins and outs, about how all this works and all that. And just the great guests we've had. Like I said, seeing the champs, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, I think that was the coolest thing, Danny boy. You got that right. Just hearing the stories and the wisdom that they're sharing. These people have done it all in the business, whatever, sports, media, entertainment. I was like, man, I'm really listening right here. Like there was times where like, oh, I got to ask a question. Wait, I'm still hearing what you're saying. And that was the cool thing about the first interview, or the second one, I think it was with Edward, or maybe third. I'm losing track. But Edward and Emilio, I think, were third after Ron Rivera. And they just sat down and started sharing stories after stories. And I know they were busy. They had to go. I saw Emilio here for like 4 or 5 hours, but that was cool. And then we pretty much became like the hippest table at Radio Row. We're the Mexican table where the Mexicans came to gather and hang out. We just need some Modelos next time. But we got your pretzels here, though, Dan and Diego. But overall, that was cool, man. Hearing the stories and then having a pretty fun table for the most part. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and honestly, 2023, we're going to do it even bigger. So I cannot wait for that. But obviously, one more day left of Radio Row. So exciting. We have some things in the works for you guys. So hopefully we get some more good luck like we did today. And we're able to bring that to you guys. But for the time being, Gilbert, I think all of us are kind of hungry.
We're hungry, but one more quick plug for myself. I've been cranking out stories too. Pat on the back over here. So check them out. I froze while I was cranking out whatever I was saying. Okay, you fix that, Fernando. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. One more plug for myself, for your boy. I've been writing stories too. So check them out. The Orange County Register. I have a blog about everything we're talking about. So you prefer the reading version. I also put in the videos. Check out the videos on YouTube. Compas on the Beat. Audio, we do it all. So on that note, it's time to go eat. Ya nos vamos. Pues, vámonos.